Hello, doctor. I am Duan Tingting, and now I would like to talk about assignment 5, the research outline idea. This is my research title, the interplay of psychological, social-cultural, and academic adjustment in international school students' Malaysian experience. And in my presentation, there are 6 parts. The first one is research background and issue. Second one is research objectives and questions. Third one is research designs. Fourth one is data analysis. Fifth one is expected findings. The last one is list of references. And next, I would like to talk about the part 1, my research background and issues. With the development of globalization, the demand for international education is on the rise in the Asia-Pacific region. In special, Malaysia has become a popular destination for international students. And for international students themselves, they are as temporary residents who often lack established social support systems in the host country, who are experiencing acculturative stress during the process of cultural adaptation. Because acculturation is a very significant factor influencing an individual's adjustment. The key outcomes of acculturation are psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment. So in this situation, international students would like to meet some challenges. There are 3 aspects of challenges. The first one is negative psychological experience. They would have some psychiatric symptoms like depression and somatic symptoms like headaches, insomnia, and they would have the homesick loneliness. The second one is low academic performance. Their self-esteem and confidence would diminish. They would lose the interest to study, and worstly, they would have the academic burnout. Finally is a poor social adaptation. Their social interactions would impaired, and they would have low self-efficacy, low cultural empathy, and existing some hindering international students from forming friendships with locals. Next, I am going to talk about my research objectives and questions. My research aims to explore the lived experience of psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment of elementary international school students in JB, and to explore the challenges of psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment of elementary international school students in JB. Furthermore, my research aims to explore the coping strategies of psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment of elementary international school students in JB. At last, my research aims to explore the influence of psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment of elementary international school students in JB. And there are 4 questions in my research. First one is, how do elementary international school students in JB experience psychological adjustment, social-cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment? The second one is, what are the challenges of psychological adjustment, social cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment faced by elementary international school students in JB? The third one is, what are the coping strategies used by the elementary international school students in JB for psychological adjustment, social cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment? And finally is, what are the influences of psychological adjustment, social cultural adjustment, and academic adjustment on elementary international school students in JB? Next is my research designs. In my research, I would like to use a qualitative research method because qualitative interviews are more effective and provide deeper insights utilized in my research. And with a goal to obtain a thorough knowledge and understanding about the psychological, social, cultural, and academic adjustment of international elementary school students in JB. What's more, the narrative inquiry allows researchers in obtaining understanding via stories on how people interpret and conduct their lives. The population in my research are international elementary school students in JB, aged from 7 to 12, and I would like to use a purposive sampling method in my research. In order to collect data from the populations, semi-structured interviews are conducted using several open-ended questions for elaborative discussions. Before the all interviews, the ethical approval to undertake this study is given by the appropriate university research ethics committee, and the informed consent of participants are obtained at the beginning of each interview. And after that, all participants are informed of the confidential nature of the interviews, and they volunteer to participate in the research. Each interviews in my research last about 60 minutes and are conducted in English or Chinese by the researcher. And for the data analysis, I would like to analyze my data from 4 steps below. The step 1 is all interviews are video recorded by transcription. Step 2 is transcribe the interviews verbatim and identify key elements relevant to the research objectives. And step 3 is the transcribed data are then subjected to semantic analysis. The last step is to facilitate the coding and analysis process. All transcripts are imported into NVivo 12. After the research designs, I would like to have some expected findings. The first one is international elementary school students in JB often faced a range of challenges when entering new educational environments, primarily due to acculturative stressors such as language barriers, academic difficulties, psychological and cultural differences, and unfamiliar political context. And the second one is psychological, social, cultural, and academic adjustments are interrelated process, each influencing and reinforcing the others in shaping the overall adaptation experience of international primary school students. And the last one is as these students gradually undergo psychological, social, cultural, and academic adjustments, they begin to adapt more effectively to their new environment. For the psychological adjustment, involves coping with emotional stress, overcoming anxiety and homesickness, and building resilience and in unfamiliar settings. Regard to social cultural adjustment, which includes developing social relationships, understanding local norms and values, and integrating into peer groups and classroom dynamics. For the academic adjustment, which entails adapting to new teaching styles, curricular assessment methods, and possibly different classroom expectations. So this combined adjustment contributes significantly to improve cultural integration and enhanced academic performance. For the last part is references. These are the references in my research. Thank you, Doctor. This is my presentation. Thank you very much.